Hi, girlies. Before the episode starts, I want to let you know I'm on tour. Come see me live. I'm going to be in possibly your city. I'm going to be in Raleigh, April 4th through the 6th, Atlanta, Georgia, April 10th through the 12th, Austin, Texas at Cap City on April 23rd, Indianapolis on May 2nd to the 4th, Portland, Oregon, May 16th to the 18th, and Nashville, Tennessee, July 25th and 26th. This is the third episode of Feelin Girlie. If you don't hear your email on this one, there's a good chance we wrote it on the Patreon. If you want to come find us at the Feelin Girlie Patreon, link in the bio. Love ya. Bye.
If I was a girl, I'd run the city, kissing boys in the street, hiking up my mini. Back in high school, would have been the girl to beat. Football player's number on my cheek, cheating on him with his best friend Pete. Small town moms calling me fast, but I rode him slow in the backseat. It would have been a blast, feeling girly and Shirley. You know all of this is made up, cause I'm just a gay guy who's a little high, feeling a little girly, feeling a little girly.
Welcome to Feelin Girlie. I'm your host, Dylan Carlino. Hi, girls. I had things to talk about, and now I'm like, well, now I'm just worried about Josh and his career. Welcome to Feelin Girlie. Welcome to Feelin Girlie. My name is Dylan Carlino. I'm going to be your main host for this show every single week. Today, this is a podcast about feeling. Actually, it's really just a podcast about me. We have our incredible producers here today who got here and immediately started bitching about their own lives. I want to start off and say thank you to all of my tier 1 girls who are on my Patreon. You guys are making it so much fun to do this podcast, and to thank my tier 2 girls as well. No one talks about the tier 2 girls. I do. I think about you guys all the time. And if you don't know what the tier system is, tier number 1 girls are some part of my family. They are in my Patreon, and I'm paying for it, not the free members. They're still tier 2, even though they want to be tier 1. And then tier 2 listens to the podcast. Tier 3 is an Instagram follow. Tier 4 is TikTok. So if you're just on TikTok, really bad. You barely even know who I am. But that doesn't matter because we can talk shit about them because they're not watching the podcast. The only girls who are seeing the podcast are tiers 1 and tiers 2. I'm having actually a pretty good week. Can you see my feet?
No.
Okay. Well, that was for all you foot fetish freaks. You know what I was thinking about? So I just got off the road. I spent the entire weekend in Raleigh. I just got back yesterday doing shows. If you came to the Raleigh shows, thank you so much. The shows were so much fun. 5 sold out shows. You guys really came out for me. It was really incredible. We do need to have a quick conversation about and thank you so much for coming out once again, because I am about to yell at you guys, but we did have some issues at the shows. I quickly want to say Raleigh is so beautiful. Have you guys ever been to Raleigh? Raleigh's like, it's so green. There's absolutely nothing to do there, and I did not see a single hot guy while I was there. It was really disappointing. Like, I thought, like, oh, we're in North Carolina, there'll be like ripped guys with overalls who like have liberal values but look conservative. No, everyone looked really sick, to be honest. Like, all the guys there were like really, I don't even know how to explain. I was like near campus too. But bad food, yeah, I can't think of a single thing about it other than the fact that it was pretty. And I did have some really good, like during the day, because what people don't know when you're a stand-up comic is that is there something wrong with the camera, Josh? Okay. No. When you look at the camera like that, you make me nervous. You're scaring me and Ariel. This is our podcast and you're scaring us. Sorry, Josh is he has OCD, so he always has to be touching things. And so I did a bunch of fun stuff, and I don't know if you guys know this, but weed is illegal in North Carolina. And so they do the Delta 9 thing. I really don't understand why you can take Delta 9, but you can't take weed. It makes no sense to me. And I walked into this place. I saw a big bakery sign. And something about me is I'm a fat bitch who loves a pastry. So I love a pastry. I was like, oh, maybe they have an almond croissant. And I saw a bakery. It said Wake and Bakery. And I said, oh, that's cute. And I walked in and I saw what I would say the ugliest bakery I've ever seen in my entire. It was like sterile. It was like overhead lights, like really, like think about like a really bad restaurant where you walk in, there's like nothing on the walls, there's like really bad tables, like the floor is like cement basically, and then like the TV, like their menus like on a TV screen, and everybody looked, let's say, alternative. And I thought but the pastries looked really good, and I thought this is one of the worst bakeries I've ever been in my entire life, but it looks really good. And there was these people in line, and I kind of was like, oh wait, is there like weed in all of these. And so to the people next to me, I leaned over and I said, can I ask y'all a question? And they were like, sure. One of them was nice. The other one was like, what? And I was like, and that kind of made me nervous. So the nice one, I said like, is there weed in these? And she was like, yeah, this is like a dispensary. I was like, oh, cool. And so I got all these like 3 milligram like pastries that were absolutely delicious and really hard not to eat all of them at once. And I took one and I put on Heard It in a Past Life by Maggie Rogers, and I walked for like 2 hours and had one of the best experiences of my life. I was like, wow, I'm back. When I was like stoned walking around listening to Maggie, I was like, everything's gonna be okay. But let's talk about the shows a little bit. The shows were super great. Now, what I've noticed about these shows is I'm attracting, and thank God you girls are so incredible for liking me and liking all my stuff. Now, we are attracting a non-stand-up comedy fan base. Now, that's totally cool. And actually, it's actually really cool to get people who've never been to a comedy show to a comedy club is very hard to do. And so I feel very honored that these girls are like, let's go to a comedy club. And I mean, the amount of girls that came up to me afterwards and were like, I've never been to a comedy show before. I was like, this is incredible. Now, with that comes, they don't know how to behave at a comedy club. And so we had, like, the first show was really great. The second show, a lot of talking. And which is like, I get it, because I don't think they like know how it works. So they think like, oh, well, Dylan's here and he's talking, so I must be able to talk to him. And I feel bad because what these girls don't know about me is I've been doing stand-up for 10 years. And if I was at a normal showcase show just doing a spot and people were behaving the way that they were behaving at my live show, I would rip into these people. I would be like absolutely gnarly at them. But because they love me, and I'm looking at their eyes and they're so excited. One girl, and if you're listening to this, I'm sending you a lot of love, but this was crazy. First show, I'm doing my stuff in the middle of a joke, and I look over and this girl has her hand raised. I go, are you okay, honey? You need some water? You're not gonna catch me like Travis Scott letting my fucking fans dehydrate. Dead on the floor seeing Dylan Carlino. I'll tell you that right now. You're not gonna see me being in the news, being fans of Dylan Carlino dead at his shows. That's not gonna happen. And so I look at her and I go, is your hand up? She goes, yes, hammered. Also, do me a favor. If you're going to come to my shows, don't get blackout drunk prior to coming. Like here's the thing. And I just want to say this because I really do mean this. You guys, if you're watching this, you love, it's very awkward to say maybe, but like you guys love me. What I love more than anything in the world is stand-up comedy. So when you come to the shows and you act disrespectfully, it makes me hate you. And not to be rude, but like, let's all act appropriate. So, and I don't hate this girl, but at all. She was actually very sweet, but she raises her hands and I go, yeah, like, do you need some help? And she was like, hi, my name's Caitlin. I was like, oh no. I was like, this is, by the way, middle of a joke. Hi, my name is Caitlin. I was like, oh, hi, Caitlin. How can we all help you tonight? And she goes, so I don't know if you remember me or recognize me, but I was in your live the other day. And I was like, because I do TikTok lives promoting the shows. And I was like, I do live multiple times a day. You know, I don't fully remember everybody's, but on the live, because it's not like big pictures. It's just like a name. She goes, well, you said that you would help me find a boyfriend at your show. Oh. And I'm here and I'd like a boyfriend. I go, gosh. Okay. I go, sweetheart, take a look around the room. Every man in here is either with their girlfriend or a homosexual. So who would you like me to introduce you to? Please, if you could point one out that you like, we can find out if he's single and straight. But right now, those options don't look available. That was the first show. The second show actually went really great. The openers were, I have to actually message one of the openers. They were great. Second day, first show was incredible. I mean, like, everybody was listening. There was the second show, though. There was something so funny about the second show on Saturday. I walked out from the first show and there's a whole line of people there. And there was something about the energy of these people that I was like, this late show is going to be a problem. I don't know what it was. And boy, was it a problem. There was a group of very excited women there who talked a lot throughout the opener set, and which is super disrespectful. I know that you're coming to see me and you're excited to see me. That doesn't mean that the people who go on stage, so how a comedy show works is there's a host, a feature, and then a headliner. I would be the headliner. The host and feature are local comedians who are on the show working with me for the weekend. So when you're disrespectful and talk throughout their set, you're actually disrespecting me in the show. So just to be clear, I am going to be a little rude about this because like I've been a feature, I've been a host. It's very rude to do that. And I really don't like that. Now they were talking throughout their stuff, and then you know how when I do stand up, I'll be like, is anybody here from a small town? You know, and so you ask open-ended questions and they would be yelling out. And so I was like, I'm just looking for yeses and nos. Or if I look at you directly and ask you a question, answer it. But these people aren't comedy adjacent. They don't really know anything about stand up. So they are like talking about the whole show. If I say something, there was also a gay guy at this show who at this corner of the table, every single time I made a joke, he would have something to say. I'd be in the middle of a joke. He would be guessing punchlines. He would be throwing punchlines out, like talking over me. It was like to a certain point, I looked over at him at one point and I said, if you keep talking, there's going to be gay on gay violence. I was like, I'm going to kill you. I really am if you keep doing this. And then after the show, so security that whole night have also at one point I looked up and some woman was filming me on her phone. I was like, this is crazy. And if you're thinking like, why can't we film you? It's like, I'm working on jokes. Not like whatever. It's just don't film me. It's so rude. Not to be like berating you guys the whole thing, but after the show, I do meet and greets. That's the other thing is like, if you're scared you're not going to talk to me, I meet every single person that wants to meet me after the shows. We do talk, we take pictures, we hug. It's great. It's actually a lot of fun. But the gay guy with all of his girlfriends, and afterwards, all of his girlfriends were waiting in line and they were like about to take a picture with me. And you just hear him like, he's like probably 20 feet away. And I just heard, no, I'm not taking a picture with him. No, I'm not going to do it. Absolutely not. I'm not taking a picture with him. Oh my God, stop it. And I was like, and I heard him. And I was like, honey, are you upset with me? Because I scolded you in front of your friends for talking at my show because you need attention, because you clearly are desperate for attention. And he was very upset. And then all of his friends were like, can we get a picture? And I was like, yeah, they're like, sorry about him. He's really dramatic. I was like, yeah, I mean, he talked throughout the whole show, so he brought it on himself. But I also get it. He probably was embarrassed that I said something to him like that. But because it is embarrassing, I'm sure, to have someone be like, hey, shut the fuck up. But it had to be done. Now let's get back to the group of women. Now they were women. I would say they were probably like in their 40s, dressed in really cute outfits. Some of them were obliterated. I mean, one woman, she was like Kim Richards on Beverly Hills Housewives. She was like, I'm a huge fan. I was like, oh wow. And so then they kept being told to not talk. And then they got into a huge fight with the bouncer and the manager of the club, and were like yelling at them and being like, you guys suck, this place sucks, but also still trying to get a picture with me, to the point where the manager and the bouncer refused to take the picture. So we had to do a selfie, and they were like, Dylan, we think you're incredible. Never work here at Good Nights ever again. The staff here is despicable. And then I got home and I looked at my messages. And one of the girls had messaged me and she goes, Dylan, we love you so much. Never go back to Good Nights whatsoever. They're trying to silence women. And Dylan, I know you don't stand for that. I go, no, you can shut the fuck up for an hour while I'm on stage. You can, while I'm performing the thing that I've been doing for 10 years, you can shut your mouth for an hour while I'm performing the only thing I care about and the art and creativity of my life. You can sew your fucking mouth shut. No one's silencing women. You are being disrespectful to comedy and my stand-up comedy. They're silencing women. You should be silent for an hour while I'm doing stand-up. It's like, don't use silencing women against me and the club when you're poor behavior. That's what we call. I don't even want to. They were being very like, I hate even using this word, but like Karen-esque. Like the internet would be like, these are Karens. I wouldn't use that word because it's like hacky. But I'm struggling to find a word that matches that. I did get a message also, you know what was really funny about the shows? It's very funny to watch these girls be so excited to see me for my If I Was a Girl videos. But like, they aren't prepared, I think, for my stand-up comedy, which is like, I've been doing stand-up for 10 years. I'm like an aggressive gay guy who talks about everything. I had a message from a girl after the first show at like midnight, and she was like, was at the 7:30 Raleigh show. Bummed about the rape joke. I was like, for sure. For sure. For sure. Yeah, you thought you were going to see a fun gay guy, I don't know, lip sync or something, whatever other TikTokers do when they do live shows and do Q&As and talk about ice cream and dance for you. That's not what this is. If you don't like I would look up my clips on my Instagram account and see what I talk about, and you can expect something similar to that. Also, the rape joke isn't even like a rape joke. It's like about something my dad said. It's not even like that. It was just like, some people hear a word though and then they can't kind of move past it. But other than that, the Sunday, if you were at the Sunday show, incredible. What an absolute treat. The other problem about being on the road is you like get free food from the clubs. So I was ordering chicken fingers and fries and Caesar salad every single night. I was like, by the end of the weekend, I was like, I actually feel sick to my stomach. But yeah, Raleigh was great.
It is funny to picture like never going to a comedy show and thinking it's going to be like the TikTok videos.
Yeah.
And then just the energy that you bring is
they kept coming up to me being like, you didn't do If I Was a Girl. I was like, yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not going to be like, pull my phone out and be like, 1 second, guys. If I was a girl, you know, like those are like marketing tools to get you guys to come to my shows. I am trying to work on like a live version of If I Was a Girl, but it's, you know, if I do that, I want it to be, I care very much about what goes on at my live shows. So if I do it, If I Was a Girl live, it's got to be like absolutely killer. And to be honest, I every night went over an hour because I have so much material that I like doing that I was like, I don't have time to really, I would have to be sacrificing a joke that I really love to do the If I Was a Girls. And I don't want to do that right now.
Yeah. Are you working on it If I Was a Girl bit?
Yeah, like I'm thinking about doing like an improvised one where I like pick a name from the audience, pick an occupation, like which I actually think would be great to yeah, exactly. And so I'm working on it, but it's not ready yet. And so I'm not going to bring something half-assed and like have people be like, oh, he did it, but it was like kind of not great. Also, I want to start filming them so that if I start doing the If I Was a Girl lives, it will be something that people will be like, oh, we have to go see him live. He's doing them live. But I don't want to do it unless it's like an A+ bit. Like I'm not going to like sacrifice, like I hate to be like this, but like I'm like good at stand-up. So a lot of these losers who blow up online, they have no talent. All they can do is talk to the camera. I've been doing stand-up for 10 years. So I'm not going to put something on my live show unless it's like absolutely incredible. Now, I also want to say to all of the girls who were there and having an incredible time and came up to me afterwards and were like, this was so much fun. I love you guys so much. And I'm sorry that I spent so much time talking about the negativity because really there was a lot of magic that happened. There was a woman and her husband, Allie. Allie, if you're watching this, I'm obsessed with you. I called her husband gay the entire show and then found out after, well, he had gauges and a crazy shirt on. So what did you expect? And and they sat front row. So it's like, you have gauges. I'm going to call you gay. And afterwards I was talking to them and they drove from Virginia Beach and got a hotel room just for the show. Wow. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. There was a girl there. I wish I could remember her name. She was so cool. I looked over, this was second show on Saturday, or first show on Saturday. I looked over and there was all these signs that was like, look at my shirt. And I was like, I can see the sign. I go, but it's dark in here. I can't see your shirt. And she like showed it to me and it said like, if I was a boy, my name would be Dylan. And she had made her own shirt to come to the show, which is like insane. Like it was like, it's like truly, this is like a dream come true moment. I was like, oh my God, they're making shirts. And then the last show, this was like really shocking. This woman in the front row, it was her and her sister. They were incredible. Once again, I have their names written down. I can't remember them right now. They were so sweet. They were such good laughers. They were like there for every single night. I talked to them afterwards. And one of them was wearing like a big puffy kind of like red wig like this. And she was like, I ordered it so we would have matching hair. So we would have matching hair at your shows. I go, that's so funny. And she goes, this is my sister. Her sister had flown in from Fort Lauderdale to come to the show because they love my videos so much. And they were the sweet. I was like, these people are traveling to come see me. That and which is why I'm being so aggressive about how to act at the show. There are people who are driving 2 hours. There are people who are flying, and you are disrupting their time. You're making the show about you when there are people who are really excited, behaving well, and spent a lot of money to be at these shows. And you have to remember, like, something as comics, what we do is, you look at the crowd and you think, these people got babysitters. These people, you know, they have people watching their kids or dogs, or they flew in. People spent money to come on the show, and you want to give them the best show possible. And then when there's people who are blackout drunk, yelling out, being disruptive, you are taking money out of their pocket because you're ruining their experience. So it's not about me. I mean, it is about me because you're pissing me the fuck off while I'm on stage, and it's distracting to hear, but you're ruining other, like a woman came from Florida. She flew in from the show, and then you're going to talk throughout my entire show. Guess what? She didn't fly to Florida to hear your speak. Can you bleep that? I'm going to need that one bleeped. I'm going to... Yeah, can you just that one word, that word, bleep the whole word so they think whatever, but and maybe cut this part out too. But I was just like, yeah, that I probably shouldn't have said that, but
You should have. That was very funny.
But and when I say fat, what I mean is fat is a mindset. Okay, it's not about your body. It's you could be 98 pounds soaking wet, and you can be a fat person in your mind. Okay, and that's what I think. I believe that. I think it's like, it really is a mindset. I also got so many more, I got a huge new joke from doing it, because you're doing it this hour whole, you know, you get to play around a lot more, and I got an incredible, punchlines and taglines to like, and it was just like such a great weekend just to even build the hour. Yeah, so there was that. I guess, what are we at time-wise? 21. Let's move on to emails. That's great. I love a nice chunky up top, you know?
Fat mindset's so fun.
It is being fat is a mindset. It's not about what your body looks like. I could lose so much more weight. I will always be fat in my head. I will always have food issues. I will also sneak. I'm like sneaky with food. I'm like, yeah, like every single night at the hotel, it was like not hungry, had already eaten, and I like go down to the little concession stand and get Twixes. I don't even like Twix. I don't even like Twix. And I would eat them because I was like, I want something sugary. Also, you know what I was thinking about just before we go? Because I feel like we're in an epidemic of loneliness in this country. And you know what I really think is the biggest problem is that nobody talks to each other, like on the streets, and so something that I know we have a lot of Gen Z people in here who are a lot of like nervous. You know what makes me feel so good about being in a new city where I don't know a single person is everywhere I go, I'm chatting people up. And I think that would really help you if you're like a lonely person or you feel like you don't really have anything going on. Like I was yesterday at the airport at a coffee shop talking to the woman who worked there. We were on the floor laughing, talking about all of the losers at the airport. And I feel like if people ask more questions about the people that are there, I have fun games to open things up. Like I always sit in the exit row on airplanes. And have I told you this before? I always sit in the exit row on airplanes, and the flight attendant comes over and they're like, will you, in a case of an emergency, will you help? And they have to do a verbal yes. And yes. And the second she walks away, whoever's right next to me, I go, psych. That's my little bit that I do. I think you have to have bits, or like, I found a coffee shop that I went to every single day in Raleigh. It was called Cup of Joe. They actually incredible probably the best latte I've had in 5 years. And these girls could not have given a fuck about me. Like I was like, hey Carolina, walking up trying to get them to like me, and they didn't care. One girl was like, do you make TikToks? I was like, but like to being like, what's going on? Is it busy here? How are people acting today? Are people being crazy? And you would be shocked how quickly people go from work mode to wanting to chat with you and tell you what's going on in the restaurant. And then they tell you like the drama that's going on at the restaurant, or like people acted like this, someone screamed at them. And you're like, whoa, you really get a picture of like what's going on here. So yeah, I think that everybody should start talking to people more. And it makes me feel a lot better at laughing with strangers. I don't know about you guys. But yeah, I'm a big talker. Let's move on to emails, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ariel doesn't talk. That was kind of my subtle way of trying to help Ariel. Because because I was just the whole time I was like, this is for everybody.
The the best bomb I've ever seen her have. She was like finally out of her comfort zone, and we were at a Christmas party, and somebody had a jacket that she liked, and then she was like, "Where'd you get that jacket?" And the girl was like, "Oh, I got it from this. I thrifted it, and there's actually another one there." And then she was like, "Oh, I can't go get that. You know, she's like, I don't have money." And then the girl was like, "No, it was like $10. You can totally go." And then Ariel, in front of like 30 people, went, "Put it on my credit card," and it bombed.
No one laughed, and then I was like, "Bye."
Credit card.
I was like,
Yeah, there's nothing worse than when a bit bombs, especially in public. Can I tell you what never bombs? The lean over. Psych. It kills. So people laugh every single time. It's incredible. Oh, and now my manager's calling me back. Oh, sorry, Chris. Can't talk business. I'm making us money. Sorry, guys.
but yeah, I've learned that I am not funny amongst other real comics. I'm only funny amongst people.
That's
that
not
aren't
true.
funny.
That's not.
Do you know what I
That's
mean?
not true. You're just around comics who are elitist about who's funny and who's not funny. So it's the fact that you're not even a comedian. They're not even going to give you a chance to even try because you're just the girlfriend of Josh in their minds. And I'm not saying that to be
true.
mean.
No.
I'm saying that that's the comics' fault. Like, because you are funny and you're super cool to be around, but comics only care about other comedians. And so I'm sure you could stand there for 2 hours and they'll never even ask you a question because they're like, well, she's not a comic. And it's like, if you had asked questions, that's like what I mean about even talking to strangers. I love when a comic brings like a fun girl into the green room and then I start asking her questions and I go, oh, fuck all these losers. They even suck on stage. I'd rather talk to this girl who, like, I don't, maybe she's cheating on him. You know what I mean? Like I love, I text my manager called me and goes, I go, can't talk podcasting. And he says, very well. What does that mean? What does that mean, Chris?
So proper.
That's so, yeah.
It's like old English.
I gotta go. I'm doing my job. Is what I'm doing. Is what I'm doing, Chris. All right, let's. Unlike you, Chris. No, who by the way doesn't listen. All right, let's. I'm just gonna open up the. Isn't it so funny to be trashing my manager? By the way, the minute you guys leave it back, hi Chris, what do you have to tell me? Like, it's so embarrassing. All right, let's move on to some emails. Okay, great. All right, ready? First email: homanic or homanic or romantic? Oh, please don't. I'm dyslexic, guys. Please don't do play on words. I can't. Homanic or romantic? It should be romantic or homantic, so that you can say romantic first, and then it's easier because then I have to sound out homantic. Whatever. Hi. Oh my God. Hi, I'm Chloe. I'm 18, 19 in May. I want to say I love the podcast and the If I Was a Girl videos. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. I don't like the way you spell Chloe. It's Chloey. That's not your fault. Sorry. It makes me feel like we're FaceTiming. We are. Anyways, I broke up with my girlfriend of almost 3 years on Valentine's Day. Yes, I know I'm an asshole for that, but she was a gold digging. Like, she spent $1,100 in a week with no bills being paid, and the sex wasn't even that good. Yes, I included pictures, and you have my full consent to say anything in here. A lot of anyways. Now I'm in a little hoe phase, but I genuinely want a connection with a guy, but I don't know if I should let my hoe phase keep running its course. I obviously don't need a man, but sometimes I want one. Preaching to the choir, slut. But I also have like 20 men on my phone begging me to go on a date with them. I love the attention and compliments, but sometimes I want someone to get to know me and love me romantically. All they want to talk about is my body, which I know my body is tea, but still. Ask me what I read about. Ask me what my favorite content creator is. It's you, but still. I'm just stuck in on what I truly want. Anyways, thank you for reading. I love you in the podcast. Pictures in order: me, my ex, and a mirror picture.
Josh wants to see.
Yeah, you're very pretty. Your ex looks very pretty girl. Your ex looks like that girl who makes coffee in the food truck. On the Tom Segura thing. Yeah. So you have to ask yourself, by the way, there's nothing wrong with wanting a boyfriend or wanting a partner. I'll say this: you're 19 years old. You just got out of a relationship. You're having a hoe phase. Go ahead and have fun. If you want to date somebody else, that's also okay. But I'm gonna tell you something right now, because you're like, yeah, all these guys are in my phone blowing me up, talking about my body. They want you for sex, because what you've been putting out there is that energy. So it's very hard to get a guy to go from I want to have sex with you just for the sex because she's in a hoe phase to I want this girl to be my boyfriend. I would actually almost argue that these guys who are hitting you up, none of them are candidates for something more. You want them to ask you about who you are as a person. You need to present yourself as a person, not someone who's just, I've done this before in my life where everything has been, I'm in a hoe phase, I'm just having sex. And when you treat somebody like they are like a sex toy, or like that you are going to just be having sex with them, they treat you the same way. So it's very hard to kind of get out of that mindset. There's nothing wrong with that mindset, and express yourself. You're 19 years old. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't need to find somebody who's perfect for you. You can also go ahead and date people who aren't even going to be long term, just like maybe fun for a year or two, and that's completely fine too. You're so young, but it's all about the energy that you put out there. So if your energy is, I'm just a hoe right now, that's how men are going to be reacting towards you. And if you say like, I want someone, like right now, I deleted all my dating apps because I was doing the exact same thing. And the energy that I was putting out there was sex. So the way people treated me was just for sex. Now I'm like, if I want to have sex with somebody, I need to have a connection and I need to go on dates with them and do something like that. Now, have I done any of that? No, I'm a touring comedian with a lot going on. So I've just not been having sex, which is great. I mean, I'm 30. I've had enough sex. I can take a couple months off. But if you want somebody to treat you more than just sex, you have to show up as a human, go on dates with them. Don't sleep with them on the first date. Or what do you think, Ariel?
Yeah, and I mean, she's really young.
You're really young.
And she was just in a 3-year relationship, so like, just
just have fun.
Want. Yeah, just like be safe.
But I also, be safe. I also do get like wanting to like, why it's hard to be like, men are so afraid that like if you're a friends with benefits, that if you do anything other than sex, that they're gonna want more from you, so that they like really just try to make it like 2 a.m. phone calls. I feel like, right? Like they're like, and they try to keep everything on the sex thing. It's like the scale. If you want something in between, you have to really kind of figure out, do I want and can I handle being friends with somebody, maybe taking a lover, having someone that you have a little bit of a connection with, but you don't want a relationship with. But these are all really difficult things to kind of figure out, and something that I still am trying to figure out for myself as well. But it sucks to say it, but like, show up how you want to be treated. You show up as someone who just wants sex, you're going to be treated as someone who just wants sex. You want somebody who wants a connection, you'll be treated as someone who wants a connection. And if they don't treat you like that, then that's a good reason not to hang out with them. Is that good advice? Mm-hmm. I thought so too, but like, okay. Poetic. Well, yeah, I'm like a thinker. I know most of you slobs, not you slobs, but like the slobs I know in my real life, they're not thinkers. They just go like, well, how can I come next? So let's move on to a new email. And I do want to let you know that if you send me an email, I prioritize the girls who send pictures in their email. If you don't send a picture, you might not get okay. Talk to. I'm really trying to work on saying full sentences, because when I'm doing a solo pod, I'm noticing that I like abbreviate everything.
When I'm captioning your clips, they're all incomplete sentences. They're all cut off.
I know. Okay, Ariel.
I'm like, that wasn't even a word. Like, what is he?
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to work on that. But I feel like the last advice I just gave kind of, because I have ADHD. I just did it. I have ADHD, so I don't finish my sentences. I like think of a new thought and then I go there. So I'm really trying. I need to be medicated. And I know that. And I know that you guys keep emailing me, telling me I need to be medicated. And that's something that I'm working on. But I'm going to first work on doing complete sentences and speaking with authority. Okay. You think
just
it's better?
Be yourself.
It's so much more fun to watch it go.
You're chaotic in a good way.
Okay, I hope so. I hope you guys aren't going to leave me. Girls, I hope if you're watching this, you're not going to leave me. I also hope I don't look fat in this shirt, because there's no. Anyways.
I was going to say it's a nice shirt.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, well, everyone was like, never wear white on the podcast again. I was like, okay. And then like last week when I was on the podcast, I like looked really bad because I had food poisoning all weekend, and I was like bloated and gross. Ariel, when I when I showed my roommates, I go, look how bad I looked. They go, you shouldn't post those clips. I looked so bad.
Someone said that?
Yeah, my roommates. I told them,
Oh.
and they were like, They're like, don't post that. You look, and I didn't post one of them because I looked. My body was not tea like the last
Oh my
person.
gosh.
My body was like a fucking croissant that had melted over. Let's move on to the next. Can we move on to the next email? Subject line: talking stage went mental, as they always do. Hi, Dylan and co. Oh, company. Yeah.
Hello.
Love the Ariel said hi. Do you guys hear her? She spoke. It's great. Love the podcast. I'm listening to it every day. Just today, I was taking the train to uni because I had an exam, physics. Hate that. Went really bad. But I didn't study at all, so it's my fault. Okay, this girl is just like me. Josh, you're still laughing. But anyways, I was really pissed and tired and listening to the podcast, and you really made my day. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome. What, you want to share why you're laughing, Josh?
Sorry. I think he's still laughing at me saying hello.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's have some composure. So let me get to my story. I, 22, met this guy on Hinge. Let's call him Noah. First date was amazing. Quickly fell for him and was great. First month was amazing. We had a lot of nice dates, and overall, he was quite amazing. A lot of amazing is feeling like a lie. He had upcoming exams, so we couldn't see each other a lot because they were quite important. Long story short, one day I texted him and my message never delivered. Later that day, his friend texted me and told me what had happened. Noah was not experiencing normal stress. No, he went into psychosis. Since then, he's been in the psych ward and didn't have his phone for 2 weeks. After that, he called me and we had a long talk. He even told me that he loved me. I know, very exaggerated. Well, also, it's like, honey, he's in a mental hospital. Like, not to sound disrespectful, but like, you know, he loves you. It's like he'll say anything at this point. It seemed like he was getting better and we were making plans to see each other, but after a while he got more distance. Nevertheless, he was trying and I wanted to give him a chance and talk things out in person. I was giving him a lot of space and didn't push anything. Oh, well, thank God. I mean, he's in a mental hospital, so what are you trying to push for his medication? Sorry, that's mean. But he didn't see that I needed more from him. Yeah, I mean, like, I think he was kind of busy at the mental hospital to seem that you needed more from him. Let's have realistic expectations when we send stories here. Okay, that's crazy. We made plans to meet up. Yesterday, he texted me that he can't do this right now and he needs to focus on his mental health. Well, yeah, I kind of expected this, but I'm still bummed because I would have at least hoped for a phone call. Anyways, now I'm kind of hung up on him because we had such a great time and I miss that a lot. But I also understand that he's in a bad place right now. He was really a nice guy, but shit went down. I still have the letter I wrote him a few weeks ago. I have his AirPods and he has 2 of my trousers. One of them belongs to my friends. So if I was a girl, I would always be borrowing my friends' clothes and they'd be like, you never give it back. So thinking I should get my stuff to give him the letter. I don't know. I might be very delusional. I mean, what he's going through is just not normal stress, but I actually liked him a lot. We wanted to see each other as things could. The letter is nothing crazy. It's just inside jokes and telling him that I really appreciated him and the things that might be like blah, blah, blah. Or should I wait? Maybe he'll ask about this stuff, but I don't know. Maybe he's too afraid. Probably dumb, but I'm kind of still hoping that he might contact me when he's well and had some time passed. I mean, I'm not waiting around and we're not in contact, but it still pisses me off because he was such a sweet soul and also hot. Please tell me what you think. Oh, and you're also Gorgina. Okay, whoa. Yeah, you have a cute top. I'm also thinking you're from the UK. Mm-hmm. That's very sad what's going on with your friend. And oh my God, my shorts are like rode up like a motherfucker. Like, what am I trying to do? Who am I trying to impress right now? Sorry. I was just like, I looked down and I was like, what am I, I'm trying to get my cock sucked on the podcast? Okay. Sorry. I was like, that was insane. I think that you liked this guy, obviously, but if you really want your stuff back, or do you want your stuff back, or do you just want to see him? Do you need your pants back? Like, his mental health he was in the mental hospital. That's not like, I don't want to say normal, but that's not like a typical experience that you deal with if you have stress. The boy's got issues. Who doesn't? For sure. But his specific set of issues, and you don't need to be contacting him. You don't need to be, I mean, if you have his address, you can box his stuff up, put the letter in there, make sure the letter isn't like making him feel bad or, right, Ariel? What do you think? I'm like, I don't want
to. She wants her stuff back. That's like the main thing. Sorry.
No, I think the main thing is she's trying to manipulate him back into a conversation. But yeah, I think she could also take her stuff back. No, I mean, I get you liked this guy. But like, he's not there. You can't force something to happen that's not going to happen. I would say, if you really need your pants back, just say like, hey, I do need, can we do an exchange? I would say don't give him the letter. He can't handle it right now. I think let it be. If I know you're gonna hate this, but like if something's meant to happen between the two of you, it will later down. You can't force anything, but like right now it is not an option, and you harping on it is not good for him, and it's not good for you. Sitting around being like, also, I think you're probably a little bit in love with the mental picture you made of him in your mind. Like, oh, we're both at school together and the connection that we had and blah, blah, blah. And the reason you probably feel this way about him is because he had to dip so quickly. So you made up all these stories about what you guys could have been, but those stories that you're making up in your head aren't reality. The reality is he went to the mental hospital and he can't do anything of the sort with you right now, or possibly ever, and you need to be okay with that and readjust your expectations to how you're going to live, how he's going to live, and how this is probably not a possibility. Your best bet is to box up his stuff, send it to him, or do an exchange and get your and your friend's trousers back. I think she's from the UK. And yeah, move on and go on dates with somebody else, because I think it's easier to be like, it could have been this guy, than to go out and find a guy who works for you now. Right? Mm-hmm. But that's very sad. He must be really going through it. If someone
goes through psychosis, what like mental disorder is that? Do you know what I mean?
It could be a lot of different ones.
Okay. Yeah.
With men, it could be like schizophrenia. It could be
like bipolar.
He could be bipolar.
Yeah.
And
just wondering. Sorry.
No, there's nothing. Hey, listen. She's someone who wrote in with no facts. It's our job to. What we're doing, speculating. Well, you know what I mean? It's like you're not going to give us all the details. So that's exactly what we're doing. What we're doing with him being like speculating, like, could it be this? Could it be that? That's what you're doing with him as well. You just, because he's not around to give you, he's a sweet soul. Let him be a sweet soul and figure his stuff out. He's probably got much bigger issues to deal with, and you don't need that in your life right now. You're young. You're romanticizing this. It's not going to work. It's time to move on. I'm sorry to be direct with you, but you're absolutely gorgeous, and you can find somebody else. And if he figures out his stuff and maybe gets on the right medication and deals with his stress, I don't know what it is, maybe he'll come back into your life and you guys can make things work. But right now it's not good for either one of you, so it's time to move on. Okay, let's do another one. I'm looking at age gap situationship. Can I also just quickly say about situationships? They're not real. So everyone needs to stop being like, and you know what? It's only women I hear talk about being in situationships. They're always like, I'm in a situationship. I'm kind of with this guy. We're kind of in like a situationship. No. You're in a situationship, and he has a girl that he fucks who thinks she's gonna get more than he is. It's not gonna happen. You guys need to chill out with the situationship stuff. You're either dating somebody or you're having sex with them who's not going to give you anything more. You hear people be like, I've been in a situationship for a year and a half. No, you've been letting a dude fuck you for a year and a half who's not going to commit to you. Grow up. I'm overhearing about situationships. Am I wrong though? It's like, get it in your mental, like you're mentally ill if you think that he's going to, after a year and a half, commit to you. Okay. Age gap. This is what you can expect at my stand-up shows. Mean. Age gap situationships. Hi, Dylan. I'm a big fan of your podcast. I want to tell you a story that started back in November. For context, I'm 20-year-old sophomore college in Northern California. I have a close to zero dating experience, except for a guy I went to prom with in high school and hung out with a couple of times, and a friend that liked me, but never did anything physical with. Oh my God, did you lose your virginity on prom? If I was a girl, I would have lost my virginity prom night. I would have. It would have been like really special to me too, and I would have been like, and it would have been with a guy named like Tobias. Sorry.
No one has that name. Sorry.
Yeah, some people do. On like TV shows, they do. They're like, oh, it's Tobias. A friend kept encouraging me to get on a dating app, and after hearing some positive stories, I said, why not? Who had positive stories? That's crazy. I downloaded Bumble, and a couple weeks later, I matched with this guy that seemed really great. I'm typically attracted to older men, and to no surprise, all of the guys that caught my eye were in their late 20s. Okay. About this guy, I matched with a guy who seemed pretty great. I'm typically attracted to older men, and no surprise at all the guys that caught my eye were in their late 20s. And this guy, a 29-year-old software engineer from Brazil living in San Francisco. His profile said that he was looking for a concert/dance partner as he was new to San Francisco, and his dating interactions were set to casual fun dates. Whereas, once again, immediately telling you, what is he looking for? Casual fun dates, looking for right now, someone to go to a concert with and then fuck, not looking for a girlfriend. But let's continue. Where I was looking for more of a long-term relationship, but everything else in his profile seemed good. Are you joking? Everything else in his he was hot, cool, funny, all this stuff. Said explicitly he did not want a girlfriend, but I looked past that because I thought I could change him. You can't. We started chatting by him commenting on some of the musical artists I listened to, since on Bumble you can link your Spotify. He's a big music guy. Who isn't, bitch? Who's like doesn't like music? Like everybody loves music. You're down bad for this guy, and I already know that it's not going to end well, but let's continue. He's a big music guy, so this starts our connection. We exchanged a lot of music, linking songs back and forth, and occasionally getting to know a bit about each other. This goes on for a few days, then he asked for my number. On messages, things continue to be the same, mostly music conversations. About a week later, he mentions a concert or two, but doesn't ask me to go directly. Then because he wanted you to buy your own ticket. Well, you know what I mean? Like if he said like you should come to the concert with me, that's him saying I'll buy a ticket for you. But he wanted you to be like, I should get a ticket because I don't want to pay money because we're never gonna date. Then he says he could come visit me on campus. I'm sure that made him rock hard since he had never seen it. I take this as a good sign and get excited. No, he's 29 and just wanted to fuck in a dorm room. He wanted to come on Saturday, but then that day didn't work out, so we switched to Sunday. But then he ended up canceling. When he cancels, he says that he's going to a concert on Monday if I was free. Right off the bat, this sounded like an obvious no since I didn't know him and he was older, which could have been a little creepy. But I wanted to meet him. The start of every single documentary if we were all dying. I also knew that this was probably my last opportunity because I was going to Thanksgiving break that week following. Winter break, he had mentioned he was going back to Brazil at the end of the year, so I decided to go. I Ubered there when we met at the coffee shop before the concert. Immediately, I was like, holy shit, he's even better looking in person. Writing about him is exactly my type. We start by talking. He has a cute accent, seems a little nerdy, but very put together. He asked me for more about myself, and this whole time I feel at ease. At the venue, she's like, okay, so then all of a sudden I'm in Guatemala and he's sold my body. Everything seemed really good. And then he sold me into sex slavery. He really likes me. Now he's pimping me out to everybody. I'm thinking, does he even care about me anymore? At the venue, he begins to lightly touch me and grab my waist, but I never felt uncomfortable. I'm more on the shy side, reserved side, so him being more talkative and taking the lead on things were great. That's just like my producers. Halfway through the concert, he kissed me with his tongue. This was my first kiss. Oh, I feel very confused. This broke the ice a bit more, and when we kissed a couple more times. After the concert, we go outside. I order my Uber, and we make out. Before I leave, he said he wants to see me the following day. Good for you for not having sex on the first date, because the first time I kissed a guy, I had sex with him, and I kind of look back and being like, was that normal? I order my Uber, we make out. Before leaving, he says he wants to see me the following day. He said we could watch a movie at his place. Ooh, not a good idea. However, I was busy because he wanted to have sex with you. And you can do that if you want, but I think it's hard to go from 20 years old, never been kissed, to then being fucked. I think is a lot for a young woman who just wanted to listen to good music with a cute Brazilian boy. I was busy. I didn't really feel comfortable with that yet, so we ended up going on break, and he went on his trip. I didn't see him for over a month, but throughout this time, we text pretty much every day. We got tickets for a concert in February, so I know I will see him again. The fact that he's putting effort in to keep in touch gave me hopes that this was perhaps more than just a hookup or something casual. I hate to bring this up, but I'm like, do you think also possibly he liked the idea that you were a virgin? And that's why he kept it going. Like I don't know if you told him that or that you were really inexperienced, but some creepier guys like that kind of thing. Like maybe like I don't know. I'd be interested to know whether or not he knew that. In the middle of January when I was going back to school, he's back in San Francisco. He asks if I want to go over to his place and watch a movie, so I do. He lives alone in a nice apartment. Well, yeah, he's an adult. Everyone goes great. We end up making out and some touching, and I tell him I have to go back and Uber. Also, this whole time I paid for the Ubers. It wasn't until later that he paid for my return Ubers. Well, I mean, you don't really know him that well. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm more of a feminist. I think you girls should be paying for a little bit more. Later that week, he comes, visits me on campus, and I show him around. The whole time, I don't know exactly what his intentions are, but we never talked about it, which was the biggest issue. This goes on. We go on 2 more concerts, then we go on dinner dates, then back to his place, but mostly me going over and watching a movie and being intimate. The second time I go over to his place, things begin to escalate. I tell him I've never had sex before. He's very respectful. We've never ended up actually having sex. It was mostly oral. That you're so like me. The next time... That's so me, girl. I'm always just doing the oral too. The last time when we were going to do it, he puts a condom on and he has trouble staying hard. I was kind of confused and I'm pretty inexperienced. And then he tells me he wasn't used to condoms anymore since his ex was on birth control bullshit. He used to condoms anymore since his ex was on birth control and it had been a while. As we lay in bed, he confesses that they broke up because she wanted to have kids and he didn't. So but he doesn't want to use a condom. Okay. That's not going to work out well for him. So after that ended, he decided to get a vasectomy. This is all very new to me because we had never talked about very personal things like this relationship, but he told me this to let me know that we didn't need to use a condom in the future. He's lying. The same night he asked if we should, but that's not true. He did not get a vasectomy. I don't believe that. He just said that because that's like such grade A bullshit to be like, I got a vasectomy. No, good luck getting pregnant. But he told, and I should stop being so mean. This is like, you are like a virgin. So I don't. Nothing wrong with that, but I feel like I have to have a little bit of kid gloves on right now. But he told me this to let me know that we didn't need to use a condom in the future. That same night, he asked if we should try again. I said yes, but initially I wasn't sure how I felt about that because I didn't know if he was seeing other people at all, and I had the impression that he was very possibly was because he's somebody that loves to go out, concerts, clubs. However, before he put it in, it seems that he was having some trouble, then stops. We don't say anything. We just lay together for a little bit longer. He asked me about dating history, and I tell him he's the only person I've ever been with. He asked to hang out the next week, but I'm on spring break, so we move it to the following week. We were going to meet Sunday, so Saturday I texted him to confirm. He says, sorry, got busy, but asked if I wanted to come over that Tuesday, so things seems fine, especially since he's canceled a few times in the past. Tuesday morning, I get the following text from him. I can't say I'm completely shocked. I knew this would end. I don't think it would end yet. I'm also had the slightest hope that he did not see this going somewhere serious. I'm not sure. However, if at the moment he did see this as something more than just casual, that he could turn into a relationship, he never thought that, sweetheart. I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean that he probably saw you as somebody who was a 20-year-old girl that he could bang. And I know that this is like not very romantic, but this is like how the real world is. You met up with someone who's almost 30 years old who probably thought you were hot as shit and wanted to fuck you. The reason, and I'm just going to make a guess here, the reason he probably couldn't get hard was he was probably in his head about the fact that you had never had sex before. He probably was very nervous about taking your virginity because he knew that if he did that, you would have much stronger feelings for him, and his intentions were to always end things with you. He never had the intention of ever being in a relationship with you. He just wanted to have sex with a young girl, and when he found out that you were a virgin, he was like, you know what? I don't know if I can actually do this. Although I guarantee you he did not have a vasectomy, and even if guys do have a vasectomy, they can still give you every single STD in the book. So you still need to be using condoms. And I don't say that to be mean to you. I just want to give you like a clear representation of why he probably couldn't get hard, because he probably in his mind was like really horny and wanted to have sex with you, but also a little voice in the back of his head being like, if I do this, it's going to make it a lot harder to get out of it. Okay. Is that mean to say?
No.
Okay. If it was never his intention and he simply just sent me this text because he wanted to let me know that it wasn't more than a friendship, I did consider saying friends. You would never be a real friend. Also, what do you think he really meant by friends? He didn't mean friends. He just said that so you wouldn't be upset with him. And now I don't know if I fucked up by saying no because maybe something casual would have been fine. You didn't want something casual. You don't want some random guy you met off Bumble to take your virginity. I'm telling you that right now. You don't want some random guy who's going to bang you, never talk to you again. It's going to hurt you. I can tell by the way that the email is written, that would hurt your feelings. So don't feel like you have to have sex with someone just because they're going to act a certain way afterwards. He never wanted to be your friend. That's just something that people say so that they can feel like a good person when they end things with other people. You don't try to have sex with your friends. Don't ever forget that. I don't know if I really fucked up by saying no, maybe something casual would have been fine. I really like him and our friendship. It sucks I won't be able to see him again. Or if I made a good choice, what do you think? Sorry, it was so long. Let me know if you have any questions or if something isn't clear. Also, here are the photos of all of us. So here's the text message. Hey, I've been doing a lot of thinking the last couple of weeks and I don't think I'm in the right place for a relationship again. I enjoyed our time together and want to make sure I didn't lead you on. I would be totally down to be just friends, but understand if you prefer not to. Hey, I understand and I appreciate you telling me this. I have given some thought. I also enjoyed getting to know you and I wish we talked about this more in person. I would like to continue being friends, but in all honesty, I don't think that'd be good for me. Yeah, sorry. I would rather talk in person, but I didn't want for you to make it all the way here tonight for it. Totally get the friends part. Wish you the best. No, he has no interest in being your friend. And that sucks to hear because you're so young. Oh, you're so pretty. Oh, wow. Yeah. I might let him take my virginity. Such a pretty young girl. Yeah. Come over here. You're so beautiful. You truly are. You have gorgeous hair, too. Oh, my God. So pretty. Aww. Now look at him. He's hot. No,
He's like an actor.
Yeah, he looks like the gay guy on How to Get Away with Murder, who's not really gay in real life. But yeah, his hair is thinning. I think. I think it's thinning. No, I'm sure he's like hot as shit. I want you to. Josh loves when I make fun of the guys. I want you to really, really try to take the rose-colored glasses of movies, TVs, relationships, what you think a relationship is, what you think love is, off, and look at it what it is. You were hanging out with an almost 30-year-old man who wanted to just have sex with a young girl. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a 29-year-old having sex with a 20-year-old. If that's what you want to do. I'm 30. I wouldn't have sex with a 20-year-old. But maybe if he looked like him. But he had no intention of ever being your friend. If you listen to the podcast, guys, we fucked that no grown man wants to be your friend. He just wanted to have sex with you, and probably couldn't get hard because he probably in the back of his mind was like, I shouldn't do this to this girl, when he knew he was always going to end it with you. I hate to tell you that, but I do just kind of think that's the truth. I know you're attracted to older guys. Sometimes we think we're attracted to older guys, even though but I think you should try to have sex with someone for the first time that's closer to your age. I know you're attracted to older guys. You have the rest of your life to date older guys. See what the guys around your age are. Maybe connect with them and see. You don't have to have a boyfriend, or if you want to however you want to lose your virginities, that's completely fine. But from a guy off Bumble that where you clearly wanted more from, it's not the way to do it. I can't believe that I'm a 30-year-old gay man advising girls on how to lose their virginity. But here we are. Go on dates with a guy your own age. Maybe meet friends of friends. And choose someone that you are attracted to and you feel safe doing that with. Choose a nice guy. A nice guy who's not going to absolutely treat you like shit afterwards, or tell you that he got a vasectomy when he's clearly lying. And he is. There's no way he got a vasectomy. I don't believe I would pay you $100. I would pay you $1,000 to get his semen sampled. And prove that he did not get a vasectomy. He just said that he didn't want to wear a condom. Men are animals, don't you? And that's why you don't date a 29-year-old. You know what a nice 20-year-old boy does? He puts on a condom because he knows this is the only way he's going to have sex. And you know what? You don't want to be with some loser who spends all his time at concert who can't get hard. Okay? No, truly. You're like should I have done this? Honey, he can't get hard, okay? I bet he had some big ass Brazilian dick though. I bet he did, and I bet that was cool AF. But you are a nice girl. You need to date some nice boy at your college and have a connection, or don't. I don't know. I sometimes I look back at the first guy I hooked up with, and I go, I wish I had sex with somebody who cared about me. Because I've not done that too often in my life, and it's not the greatest thing in the world. And I think we're living in a day and age where it's like very fun and free to be sexual, which I'm so here for. But like, I think you need to start off slow. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be in an open relationship till you're in a monogamous relationship. You don't need to be having sex with random guys that you meet offline until you've maybe had a few times with someone that you really trust. But it's your own life. So if you want to go online and if you want, listen, you're allowed, you have free will. If you want to go on Craigslist and auction off your virginity, you're allowed to do that too. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you can and can't do, but I think the safest, best way for you seem like a nice girl who's very pretty with a good head on her shoulders. Find a guy your own age to kind of build a connection with and work up to having sex. This guy's not it, okay? I kind of feel like I'm killing it today. But he is hot as shit, and I totally would. If I was you, you have more restraint than me, because if I were you, I would have let this guy take my virginity. And then I would have thought about it and been heartbroken for years and thought about him forever. So you have more. I commend you on your bravery, because I would have been like, do you like me? Do you like me?
Oh my God.
Do you want to come fuck me in my college dorm? What are we at time-wise?
An hour.
We're at an hour?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so then we're going to move over to the Patreon to do the rest of the emails. If you want to join the Patreon, it's only $5 a month. We love you guys so much. It's Feelin Girlie Pod on Patreon. It's $1.25 a week, you freaks. It's like literally an eighth of a cup of a coffee. If you don't, and it's the best way to support me, and you'd be a tier 1 girl, and they're way more fun. All right. Thank you so much for listening to Feelin Girlie. If you're listening to this, please leave a review or a comment or a follow. But most importantly, sign up for the Patreon, bitches. All right. Love ya. Bye.